to my channel, Standing Tall on Tuesdays. Hey, Larvetta.
Hello.
And this is another segment of Standing Tall on Tuesday where the Lord has given me women to interview who are business owners, who are women of God, who love the Lord, and just have an amazing story to share.
Yes.
And you are someone that he gave me. So today I'm going to interview Larvetta. Hey, Lala. Wait a minute. I've been calling you Lala for so long.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Lala, what's your last name?
Loftin.
Loftin. Okay. LL. Go L. Because I'm like,
You
La La La.
have called me
I have called
La.
you, yes, La La La.
Before, I think you've called me that before. It's now a nickname.
I've been calling you La 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 La. Yeah, Oh my goodness. So today we're interviewing Larvetta Loftin, aka my La 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 La, La 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 La. So, and I'm interviewing you because you're amazing. Always have been amazing. Love you to life. And so many people have said it. It was said in last Sunday. Because people was like, well, wait a minute, how do you all know each other? Asking about Monica and that whole thing. So you came up and they was like, man, Lala, she didn't, she's the GOAT. That's who she is. Yes. And I've been knowing her for a long, long time. But this one, Monica, been knowing you since y'all was little. So you are a minister. Yes.
Ooh, that just,
okay. Yeah, we're going to talk about that too because nobody knew, right? Nobody knew. And that's how you're supposed to move, right? Supposed to move like that. I didn't know until everybody get up. I was like, hey, wait a minute. Wait, is that my Okay. Yes. Yeah. That thing right there. Okay. You're an entrepreneur. You're a business owner. Been always. Like as long as I've been knowing you, you've been doing the doggone thing. You're a sister, you're a daughter, you're an auntie, you're a best friend to so many, so many. And man, let me tell y'all something. She evangelized. That's the story we're gonna get into. Yeah, like God got you doing your thing and you do it well and you touch so many. Like you're gonna have so many things in your crown. What do they call them? Like you're gonna have that.
I receive it.
Yeah, you really will because that was definitely brought up too. So I'm just like, okay, Jesus. You know, I got a story to share, but I can't wait. But we'll get into it. You draw so many in. Just by your testimony, just by your life, the way that you live your life, you're an example. So I personally thank you. I personally thank you. And you know what? Usually I have a way of getting into this, but we're going to jump to the question number 2, okay? How do you and I know each other?
So Shay and I know, okay, so that's another thing. Shay is her nickname, I know for a lot of people, Deidre. Which is funny because I think that happened later. I was like, who? So I want people to know, one of my dearest girlfriends I went to grammar school with, whom I've known since I was 6, is best friends with you. And so it's crazy because for years I thought y'all were really sisters because y'all look alike. So I would be like, oh, is your sister coming? And for years we would say that all the time. Till eventually I think we became adults and I was like, wait, y'all not like real sisters? So this idea of saying sis, I think is like a new phenomenon, but I saw it with the two of you.
And that was in 1994.
I saw it in you all that literally, because when Monica came back to Chicago, which is her birthday, she came back to Chicago, we were all together. She was like, oh, my sister's coming, and and so for years I was just like, oh, that's a sis, maybe by a different daddy. Back then you just like, oh, okay, cool. We didn't ask no questions. So literally, so it was meeting Monica, but I feel like before then though, wait, Shay, didn't you come to what did we have before she moved?
Oh no.
No.
I didn't start coming to you all's events until after she came back.
When she came back.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like I met you like somewhere before before everybody. Maybe.
Yeah. But I just remember like when she came home.
Came back, yeah,
for
sure.
Stuff, and
we were doing stuff. Yes.
Always going.
Yes.
Always going.
Yes. And that was, what was it, 94?
Yeah.
Well, I graduated in 95.
Yeah, 94.
So it was 95 that I remember. And then from there, so 19, I've known you ever since 1995. You all do the math. I can't keep up. But
it's a long time. Long time.
Couple of decades.
Yes. So know you through Monica. Thank you, dear. Love it. And I was at Apostolic Church of God, Bishop Brazier.
Yes.
Had got saved and living the yay, thank you Jesus. That's where my foundation was laid with the Lord. Yes. So then 2007, and you I don't know if you remember this, but 2007 July, but like some months before that, like we would hang out, that whole thing. But I remember you saying, well, you know what, Shay, July Family and Friends Month. Yes, you should come visit.
Sure. Oh,
you should come visit my church. And I was like, well, what church? He was like, New Life. I was like, okay. Okay. So he was like, and yeah, we're holding service at King. And I was like, okay. Me and Bridget went.
Sure did.
And 2007 now. July 2007. We went, King High School, got up in there. And I still have the program. I still have the CD that I went back the next week to go get because Pastor preached. Do you hear me? And the name of that series was, before that. He preached from Different Strokes and Father Knows Best.
Oh, I remember.
And let me tell you, see, the reason why I know is because that thing stuck. It's still with me, right?
I do remember that.
So it's been 17 years and I didn't have that program, and it's still in my Bible that I don't take out the house. You know how you gotta have Bible.
Yes.
So came up in there, we sitting, he preaching, I'm bawling. Cause remember Mama Ruby?
Yes, I do.
Yes, and she was like, "Oh, you're Larvetta's friend. You sit right here." I said, "Okay, thank you." Sat right there. Let me tell you something. Pastor towed it up, of course, hidden. Yeah. I'm like up under the seats. My daughter looking at me like, "Mom, you okay?" Like you, and I was like, "Okay, Lord, all right." Went back the next week just to pick up. Well, I did listen to the sermon, that whole thing, but when I went back to my church, they was like, you listen to that silly man, this and that. And I was like, what are you talking about? I did not know that Pastor Hannah was on the radio. I didn't grow up in church, so I didn't know about all that. But I do know that when I left, the Holy Spirit was like, when you get released, whenever it's time for you to go, you know where you're going, right? 2009, it was time for me to be released. And I was like, wait, what you mean? Lord, I've been here since 2001. What you mean it's time for me to go? And a dream happened, just all of this other stuff. And next thing I know, went to a Bible study and have not left. All from an invitation. And that was in 2009. So we're talking over 2 years that the Lord was like, working in me. So then went over to New Life. And then in that February of 2010, Bishop came and spoke. And because I was still like, Lord, but then, I knew I was already going. But that was my confirmation. That was my confirmation because, And I was like, okay, Lord, this is where I'm here to be. And when I say that I have took off, but it was because of the invitation.
Wow. I forgot.
Yeah, it was because of the invitation. And that's why I couldn't wait to tell this story. I was like, I wonder if she remembered.
The reason why I can remember, you always have to, sometimes when you remember, you got to remember where you were, like where you lived, where your head was. And so I do remember, it makes me say that, at that time we were at King House, I lived across the street. And so I would allow, myself to be able to stay there as long because I lived across the street. So I was like, I can stay. But I felt like inviting, and I could say this, inviting people to church was easier at King. Because for some people, I felt like I felt that people were there. I always felt that there was some level of church pain. I wasn't tuned enough to know. But if we could have King, we don't have to create division. And that's what I felt church was giving people, was division. And so I remember, because who invited me to New Life lived on another side of town, invited me. I went. And when I went, I was like, I'm supposed to be here, right? Who would have thought this was in my backyard? And I had literally prayed, because I didn't have a car at the time. And I had prayed, give me a church where I can't make excuses on how I need to get there. And I was like, I was going to, I was like, I'll take the bus. I'll do, and I was okay.
Right, because that's how I started at Apostolic.
I was
on the bus and train, red line.
Yeah, and it was okay. But I didn't want to make excuses. Yeah. So I said, if it's cold outside, it's too cold. So I wanted something where I have to get outside, truck through some snow, walk across the street, and go to church. But I go to a school. So that was part of, I think, when you say invitation, I would invite people because I would be like, it's King. Yeah. It's not a church. It's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and here's the thing. I'm from the north side, born and raised, right? Born and raised. So I was like, what? Where? What are you talking about? I even remember having to call Monica, like, where do I turn? How do I get there? I don't know what I'm doing. Oh my God, it was crazy. Yeah. But it was meant for me to be there, and I remember
so when you're telling me, I actually can remember Bridget. I could just remember that, and I remember us being in the hallway, the vestibule area, and you told me, you said, this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah, I remember. Okay. I was like, if I ever get released, the Lord was like, you know where you're going. I was like, okay. And I remember one time, I had went to New Life first, right? Because the time it was come on now, it's time for you to. I went to New Life and got everything I needed. I went over to Apostolic. They started preaching, and I literally started getting sick. Wow! Literally, it wasn't even 10 minutes in, and the Lord was like, "You can't eat at everybody's table, baby. You ate already. You full." I said, "My God, okay, Jesus, I hear you." So that's how you know. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
And I had not went back since, except for Bishop's funeral. But other than that, no. Yeah. Wow. So thank you for the invitation.
I mean, you forget about these moments, and then you watch your sister plant and your posture for New Life, and how you served at New Life was just beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. And I think together, right, we were serving in different ministries. And so, but it was it was amazing because, right, I knew you were Shay, so we go to ministry. People are like, Deidre, and I'm like, you mean Shay?
Yeah, like what?
You know what I mean? But and so I think sometimes, with church, we try to figure it all out. And I'm like, but the beauty of it is that Shay was the same, whether Shay was serving or Shay was being a sister at lunch or dinner. And I think that's what we don't see enough. We only see Shay the mother, right? Shay the, right? And I say, or worker or this, but I think when we're at church, we should be able to see all of it. Yeah. And I think that was where it felt, because I think even, and I can say this even for me, I struggled with inviting my friends to church, right? Not because I didn't, was because I think friends place judgment on you that you didn't ask for. Right?
Yeah.
Well, now she holier than thou.
Or they want to just keep you in the space that they met you and they had you in. Yeah.
Correct. And now you're holy because you've chosen to get up every morning or every Sunday and go and just be at the altar if you needed to be, right? but I was doing this before. You just didn't see it, right? So now this is what you get to see of me, right? This is on the outside.
Yes,
but I think that I struggle with that because I remember when I joined church, and I probably told some people, I didn't tell people that I rededicated, of course, my life. And I'll be honest, I didn't want people to change.
To look at you.
To look at you differently.
I
wanted them to still see me in the way that I see myself. Because I see myself as, I love the Lord. I love to dance. I love to go out with friends. I love to have a good time. I wanted to see that. And I think that I was raised in the church, right? Grew up in church, born and raised. I didn't see that. So I didn't know how that worked, that I could still do business in the church. Like, I didn't see that. So I thought that you kind of go to work is here, right?
Everything
go to church
is
is
in
here.
compartmentalized.
Correct. So I felt like, going to New Life was literally, in all fires, was like I had a new life. It was like I had a new life. Like I had an opportunity to be renewed and create a life with people that we can serve together. We can
do life.
We can do life together.
Yeah.
And so, at one point when we were doing, we had, I was on the health ministry. We did walks on the lakefront. We did we did all this stuff and enjoying it, right? And in your mind, you're like, this is my church. This your church? Y'all out here running and
that was the difference between our church and other churches or whatever the case may be, because my new life and is my new family and my new friends. I still have some older friends or whatever the case may be, but I remember when I came to New Life, like, boom. And I say that because I had never been part of women's ministry. I had never did any of that, never looked at myself as a leader, just all of that. And I don't even think it was a year after I got there that it just, took off. And so, I'm grateful for that. And it really did a thing. And it does. You want to kind of stay in that space and that place with your friends and stuff, but God be like, nah, I can't. I need you to do some, So I totally understand what you're saying about that. So what's a favorite fun fact about you that no one knows?
That would be hard because I feel like I'm always like, girl, I'm doing this, and it doesn't bother me. But okay, so I don't know if I don't necessarily know it's fun, but I think it's a fun fact. I eat pickles and I can eat them all day. Like, I eat them. No, I don't think you understand this. Like, hot, like, right now, it's like I want pickles. And so, fun fact about it is that I eat them like potato chips. Like, I'm going to keep eating them. And I know as I'm getting older that I have to stop doing these things because these things aren't serving me. But that's one. And I think the other fun fact.
Now, that really is a fun fact because who would have thought that? But I get it because I love pickles. Like, I picked up a thing about pickles now. So I just be like, ooh, I got to get some
I got pickle, like, I like dill chips. Like, the whole thing is me to the T.
Have you always loved pickles?
Always.
Oh, you always loved pickles.
Growing up, my mother would ask me, she goes to the grocery store, what would you like? Pickles. I wanted pickles and plums, but pickles is really my thing. Like dill, you name. Like I am like addicted. Like I'm a pickle girl.
All right. Well, I love that. Yeah. See, that is a fun fact. I did not know that.
I mean, I buy now. I mean, I go find street hustlers who sell pickles. Like, that's how serious it is. Like, I go to a store right up about 2 blocks away and they sell pickles. I mean, no, she makes them.
Oh,
and they're in a jar. They cost $20 and I can eat the whole jar really in one set. Like, I can sit down and just, not necessarily maybe watch TV, but I could just sit up and just
eat on the pickles.
Just eat on the pickles.
Yeah, and since I've gotten to this thing with the pickles, I'm like, oh, I should probably slow down because there's a lot of sodium. There's this, so yeah. But I love.
That's what I'm saying. I know we should, but it's my thing.
I
my
get it.
thing.
I
It's
get
my
it.
thing.
Okay, well, see, I like that fun fact. That was good. See, I did not know. Larvetta, share a story or a time of you overcoming of adversity, trauma, bad toxic relationship, whatever it is that you want to, or if you want to divulge. Yeah.
I've gone through a lot. I wouldn't be sitting here able to share if I hadn't, right? And so one of the things I do want to share, because I think it's important, was the impact of divorce. And I say that because I didn't grow up in a house, you know, of divorced parents, right? So you would think, right, you didn't see it, but you did it, right? So to me, that, you know, some might agree, well, she didn't grow up like this. But I also grew up in a house with a lot of substance abuse and abuse. So I did also do that, and I'm not a substance abuser, right? So what I discovered in my, you know, so getting married is the level of shame and what shame does to you and your purpose is still a struggle today. Because divorce comes, and I think divorce and death really are parallel in the way that it impacts your life, right? And so when you say from an adversity standpoint, here I am on paper, you know, I've got it together, I'm this, I'm married, you know, my and I may not have even shared this, when my ex-husband proposed to me, in your mind it's like, oh my gosh, that was amazing, oh my gosh,
I remember.
I was sick, my stomach was turning, like what is happening to me? So, but on this flip side, people are seeing this beautiful stories, grandeurs on television. It's like, oh my, like people were, I saw your proposal, you know, on the news, and I was just like, this isn't me.
That's so not her.
This is so not me. Her. And so having to experience that, I remember calling the next day. I called New Life. I called the office. I was like, I need to talk to Pastor Hannah. I don't know what to do. Like, I literally was like, can you leave a message? I think I called, I emailed, like, I think I was like, I think the story that Pastor was like, you wasn't gonna stop till you get somebody. I was like, I wasn't. And so, because I was uncertain about saying yes, but I said yes because of the people and the production. Like, I said yes because I was afraid to say yes to myself, right?
That's good.
I didn't say yes to myself. I said yes to the people. Not to myself. And so I went through with you know, premarital counseling. I was blessed to be able to get, you know, we were able to get counseled by you know, Pastor Hannah at the time. And so, you know, I'm like, okay, all right. So I'm moving along, right? Moving in motions. But there was one thing that my mother said, and you know, of course my mother's not here anymore. But one thing my mother said was, she said, I didn't like that. I told him, like, make sure she, you know, she's gonna want to look cute. She's want to look this, you know. So make sure, you know, she's, you know, because I can be casual, and I don't have to be done up and performative, right? So he was like, okay, I'm gonna do that. But my mother was like, you don't think that her friends shouldn't be there? You don't think her family, like, she was uncomfortable with his decision to just do it that way. But she was like, that school, that my mama's was, I'm gonna let you, you know, this you. You get her blessings, what have you, right? So I went through with the wedding, uncertain that this is the life that I wanted. But if you look at it, I was ready to have a baby. I was ready to start this new life, this new chapter. I had checked all the box. I had been celibate. I was the perfect candidate, right?
Like you say, on paper, check.
And so, you know, my ex-husband wasn't someone that I knew, so I was familiar, but I didn't know him. But I knew him, you know his background, you know where he went to school, but you didn't know who he was. And I remember we were gonna call the wedding off. He had lost his mother, and there was parts of me that was like, okay, I'm okay with that. We didn't have money. That was another thing. He presented himself in this way that he had this money, but we didn't. And so presenting and pretending,
but we did it.
But we, you know, and I was just like, so why don't we wait? I don't want to wait. This is what I want to do. And so I started dating in November, which I shouldn't have been dating. That is on me. Because I wasn't healed from a previous relationship. But I was ready, right? I was ready to have this life and get up and have my kids. I wanted the house and the 2 kids and the dog and all of that, right? And so we started dating in November. I think he proposed in February. We got married in September. So that was it, right? So on the course of it, I'm still uncomfortable, but I'm presenting. People look at me, oh my gosh, you guys look amazing. I'm like, yeah, okay, we do, okay. But I'm coming home like,
you caught up in everybody else.
Because I didn't say yes to me. So I wrote in my journal. I had gone to the New Year's Eve service. No, it was right after New Year's Eve service. And I said, God, I think I've made a mistake.
Now, is this the New Year's Eve service that I saw you? Because this is when it was at the Forum. Yes. And everybody had to stand outside, and they had to do this, and they had to do that. And you went to the 7 o'clock service. And you were already married in that whole thing. And I was just like, oh, okay. And here's the thing. I don't remember. I remember like the engagement. I remember seeing it. I remember us having a conversation or hearing a conversation where he was like, that's not even me. Because when I saw it, I was like, she looked a little scared. But that don't even, that whole thing. You and I were not like we are, So that's what, listen to your story. I'm all like, see, I would have been that friend like, are you sure? Because you ain't looking right. What's going on? What's happening? But again, it had to happen that way. It had to happen that way. But I do remember in March of that, celebrating Monica's birthday and how we was on the rooftop and all that. I was like, so what y'all need me to do? What y'all want? Yeah, you know what I mean? Yes. So,
and just knowing that moment, right? I had thoughts of, you might not remember. I was like, I want to go to the bank, take all money. You don't do that because that's not you, Larvetta.
That's not you, Larvetta.
Yes, the way that he's behaving, it does. You do want to come back. You want to, as we say, clap back. I wanted to, right? But having, and I say sisters who recognize who I was, you don't want to do that, Larvetta.
Yeah, that ain't you.
That ain't who you. But when it was displayed, it didn't make me look bad.
Exactly. That's why it's not you to do that. To do this.
But I wanted to.
Yeah.
Was,
come on now.
Go to the bank account, take all your money, and make your life miserable. But I knew that, and I'm gonna say this. That's what I wanted to do. But because of the friends that I have who protected the calling on my life, didn't know what it was then, was like, no, you're not doing that, right? Because you think about from a fast forward standpoint and eventually saying this isn't what happened. When you talk about the reason why I think it's important to say adversity was that because of the shame, that shame in the course of a turning point of my life impacted how the rest of my life would be. And so the opportunities that, and the enemy allowed for me to live in the shame of, you're different. yep, you different. You the only one that got married and got a divorce. You did. So you different negatively.
Yeah.
And so living under that and seeing that. And so once I divorced, I wrote to Pastor, I wrote a letter. And I said, we have not done, we had not addressed. We get people married, but we don't do heart surgery on people when they go through divorce because it is inevitable, right? In some cases, you could probably talk to more people who are married who said they wanted a divorce too. We believe that the word divorce is almost like a disease, right? And so,
even though it's so common, because 50% of marriages are getting divorced. So.
I mean, it's like, come on now, right? It's like, I mean, it's a stat that is, so knowing that, and so I reached out to Pastor, I think, and told him, and he said, I want you to come and speak. Now, I divorced, so luckily I didn't stay married long enough. Holy Spirit took me out of that, literally dropped me, picked me up, and was like, this not going to be your life. And I say that because the opportunities, the purpose, the things that came out of it, because divorce saved me from myself, because Larvetta did not realize that she was a broken woman and that she was marrying under her brokenness, not from a whole place. Yes, she checked the boxes. Yes, you know, in her mind, she was whole. She didn't know what whole meant. She didn't know what whole meant. You think you know because you celibate. That's what it was. You celibate, so you whole, girl. You whole.
Yeah, because that's what we focus on. Just be celibate. Just sure that you're pure, girl. You're right.
But it's not. It's literally when we
so
say
much more.
It's pure. It's being just. Like I wasn't being just in the space of who I was, right? And we don't recognize purity first starts with yourself. So you're pure from a sexual, but pure from an emotional. What's your emotional trauma? You didn't realize that your anxiety for certain things and wanting to be protected, getting married in your mind was the only way that you thought that you can birth something. That you can birth something. That's not true. But that's the space that we lived in. And so that I couldn't be this mother. So, well, I have to be married. Because I lived in a household like that. I lived in a household that is the life that you're supposed to live. And so...
And even though it was looking good on the outside, you all's four walls, there was still stuff going on in the inside that nobody seen, nobody knew about, all of that, right?
Yes.
So here we are like, we want to emulate that, we want to do that, but it's still some healing that you need to do on the inside from that.
Correct.
From and when you lived in that.
And I'm going to be honest with you, and I say this today freely, when you talk about adversity, that is what shapes me to be the woman I am today. That you see a woman who moved in fear, who moved in a space that didn't know how to love the woman she is and allow someone to love them back, meaning being authentic. I knew I was authentic, but I had learned to be a pretender through the household that I lived in with my parents. So you were never going to see me sad. You were never going to see me outraged. You were never going to see me furious and unkept. And so the best thing for me to do, but then when that happened, you know, Shay, that's, to me, I felt like that's when God did heart surgery on me. And that's when, you know, he opened up, you know, a ministry. He opened up things that I didn't see in myself because I was like, God can't use me. Like, I was only married for like 16 months. Why would he want to use, like, I ain't had no kids in this marriage. And when Pastor had called him, was like, I want you to come and speak. I was like, I don't want to be on no panel. This is, I like, no. And so many people didn't know that I was divorced. But once again, I moved in silence. And not from being private. Because you can come to me and I was going to tell you. But silence in the sense of, I needed to learn how to say yes to myself. And I couldn't say it because I was used to noise and activity and people and this. And so as long as I lived like that, then that's how I can make decisions. Well, then those decisions are false. Those decisions are based on wanting to be validated. Those decisions were not based from your heart. It was based on, this is what I should do. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is what is expected of me. And so when you look at me and I say this today, I'm divorced. I've had a car to be repoed. I've almost foreclosed on a house. Like, I've experienced that. I've had negative bank accounts. I've had it. Like, I don't want nobody to believe that you see me and you like, man, no. I mean, if there was, I've seen it. I've experienced, dating someone who I thought was involved in things that he shouldn't. I'm praying, I hope I don't have HIV. Like, I want people to know that those were the things that I was faced with. And talking to the HIV specialist to say, if I'm gonna do it, and if God can heal me from this and he can do this, so you got to play all that stuff, because knowing that all of that is those experiences, and then being rejected, right? Being rejected by people, being rejected for work, being rejected. So all of that, and you think about that and stand here, the constant in all of this was my faith. I allowed myself, even in that, even in all this, all I did was draw into him, right? And so that's the part that if you say at home, that was what I did at home. And so you can see me like, hey, she's having, but at home, she's drawn into him, right? And so my mother would say, she said, the song by Mary Mary, Get Home. No, Get Home. She goes home, gets behind. Oh gosh, why can't I think of it? I hate that habit. But my mother said what I'm talking about. She said that's you. Like, you go out, you this, you get home, you this.
And you close the door behind, when you close the door.
She on her knees. And so knowing that, but I realized that that's also I truly believe has been my hindrance. Allow people to see the posture that you lay to get to where you are. But there's a part where I hid it because I wasn't confident. I hid it because I wasn't around people, in my opinion, that saw me as that. They saw me as what they saw me right there, but they didn't see that other side to know. So I could categorize my faith in my business. In my business, it was that. So that's how I operate my business. I don't say we have a faith, but my business is built on faith. I mean, it's clear. Like, I can't say that I've been in business because of self. I've been in business because God has kept me. And when I say kept me, is I am never going to do something that's going to sell my soul or anybody else and impact anybody else, right? And so steward over his money, steward over his business. Like, stewardship is at the forefront of what I do. Not because of man. I will sacrifice myself to make sure someone else is taken care of. And when I think about that piece, I say, when they say that you don't want to be someone who has a scandal, right? I think we all have scandals.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean, right? However you want to look at it, there's a scandal. I think what we have to stop doing is projecting this false identity of the people that we're around. So that means that just because someone holds a position does not mean that they don't suffer, that they are not sad, that they're not. I think we sometimes create these false identities that doesn't allow for us to grow. And I think for me, I did it for myself. I did it for myself. The false identity of I can't, right? And it's funny because I remember, Shay, I had a client. I used to do a lot of liquor clients. And at the time I was on one of the ministries that I was asked to be on, which is finance, right? You don't sign up for that. Somebody taxed you. And I was like, okay, sure. And I was embarrassed to share. Well, what happened was I saw someone and it was like, you know, I don't know what brand we had. Was Bacardi was one of our liquor brands, whatever. I see you at New, or I don't even know the how it started, but it made me feel like I was embarrassed about what I do. So it was a client of my years ago. We had the liquor client, and we did these film events all across the country. We had lost the film, so this was a day where you had a real film, real film, put it in there, right? So we had lost it. And so it was my responsibility. They told me it was shipped. It was this, you know, so you problem solving, trying to figure it out. So upstairs in the theater, you know, was where they put the film. I went up there, and I said, all I could do is just pray. Like, I don't know what else to do. So, you know, people party and have a good time. So I go upstairs to the theater and I pray. So the investor, who's the investor in the film, comes upstairs, and she says, "Is everything okay?" And I was like, "No." I said, you know, right now we're not able, no, I didn't say we cannot find a film. I did not. I was like, "Oh, I just came upstairs and I just need a minute." She said, "There's something on you." She said, "Don't lose that light." She said, "While you are here, God wants you to minister to these people." I'm like, I don't even know her. Like, she had no,
but she knew.
She don't know. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't talk to her about, we didn't, I think in Los Angeles, I mean, no connection. And so literally she was like, she was like, I need you to know that God is using you, and he's using you in this place that you're in because you're the perfect one. And when she said it, she said, he's chosen you because you can handle this. So I was like, okay, this is crazy. This is weird. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm at New, you know, I'm hungry for the Lord. I'm like, okay, but I can't find this film, and you didn't mix my work with my faith. Wait, hold up. This is kind of right. Literally, she goes downstairs. She says, "Don't lose your faith." So I was like, okay. The film appears. The film appears. It's like, oh, we got the film. I was like, this is God. This. There were examples that were showing me that you are not going to box God in, that you're not going to allow for people to see him in you in the work that you do. And so I started to see that, and I didn't talk to her ever again, Shay. So that's when I realized that we have to be disruptors in every way of our lives and disrupt the traditional way of church, the traditional way of life has to be. We have to, and that's what I've been able to do, is be a disruptor as a business. But disrupted is, I don't have a problem stopping and praying in my business. I'm not going to, when it's yours, you can do what you want to do, right? But I'm not going to offend anyone. You're never going to, I'll pray for you, right? And that's what happens. And so we don't realize we have boxed our relationship with Christ based on Sunday
instead of Saturday through Sunday.
So I know there was, so I need to be clear that adversity has been in my life, you know, in every way, and having to deal with having a hysterectomy and having to deal with the fact that you won't have kids anymore. But thankfully, by the time it came, I had birthed so much that I knew, right? Because God had told me, you were here to birth business owners. So I'm going to help people become business owners, that I was put on this earth, that I had a purpose, that I'm a visionary, that I have a purpose to make sure that young people will see
what it looks like.
And I'm going to help them get there faster. You ain't going to take, it ain't going to take you till you 50 or 60. I just don't believe that young people, with the access that they have. And so I think that, you know, Shay, is my commitment and realizing. But I will say this, by the time I got to this space and having to have that hysterectomy and having to this, you know, opened up doors to explore fostering. I mean, just explored so much that you can be the midwife, that you can serve as a surrogate. And all my babies, when I tell you all of them that I've touched along the way, are like outstanding. Like they're just like, I'm like, can I just be like you? I just want to be like you. I want to be like you. And I think,
but you had to go first.
I had to go first. It's almost like, okay,
now you go. Yeah.
And I had to go first. I had to get the hits. I had to get and I'm okay with that.
Right.
Just why I tell my young people, I took the hits so you didn't have to. So understand that. Understand that I'm not. If I did it for me, trust me, I wouldn't do none of this because it ain't for me. That was it's way bigger, and I only do it for one. I don't do it for a platform. I don't. That's something I had to decide that I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested because if I use it as a platform, then to me, the platform dictates how you want to run your life. Instead of doing it for him and allow the platform to grab on. Those are two separate things. We run into a platform when we really should run to God and allow that God to lead you with the right people who's going to build a platform for you. And that platform can look different. You can be in faith-based rooms. You can be in CEO rooms. It don't matter. So that's the difference. When you build a platform, people going to box you in anyway. So why would you do it to yourself?
Well, I want to do a part 2.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Look, I'm all like, because you know now things are going in my head, and I'm like, oh Jesus, okay, I hear you, and I'm listening to you, and I know what he's saying. But man, Larvetta, so I know that you say that there was shame in your divorce and that whole thing, and I understand that because you know a lot of people say it's like death and all of that. But what it did produce. What it birthed, what came out of that. You know what I mean? So I get that. I saw that. That was your ministry. You did birth. You birthed a baby. You know what I mean? The divorce ministry and that whole thing. And that blessed so many people. That blessed a lot of people. You know what I mean? So like you say, you had to take the hits.
I had to take the hits. And it didn't feel good. I don't want
of course
it.
Not.
You know, even church didn't receive me. I remember presenting, and we talked about how many people that we had helped, and I got not one clap. Imagine that.
Yeah, but again, like you say, platform or who you doing it for? You know what I mean? And that's what I always say. Even if it's just one, I don't care. Just one. It do not even matter. But that's the thing, though.
Correct.
Don't nobody applaud me for what? Don't applaud me. No. Don't applaud me.
Good.
Yeah.
I'm really
this is
good.
You know, this is not about me. It's bigger than me and all of that. So I do get it. But for sake of time and taping.
Yes.
Oh my God. But yeah, I want to do a part 2.
Okay, let's do it.
No, see,
let's do it.
You know, I still got some questions, but that's fine. I know, but it's okay because you know you and I can sit up here.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can.
So I want to thank you so much, Larvetta, for giving me your Sunday afternoon, early evening to do this. You are so important to me. You already know that. Yeah, I'm not going to do all that right now, but yeah.
Can I just say something?
Okay, sure.
I am super proud of seeing you in this space.
Oh, thank you.
I am. It is beautiful. I know. I know.
Yeah,
but I'm in awe of his goodness to see you, because whenever you see your sister who has something special and is walking through that, I'm gonna say yes to it because I want to say yes to it. So I am just proud of you. You have a special anointing, has always had one, always, and a gift that always says, I'm gonna cover you in prayer. That's Shay's favorite thing. I'm gonna cover you in prayer.
Ain't nobody but God, because Jesus didn't grow up in church, went to church when I was little, but none of that. Wow. So this right here, this ain't nothing but him. And not always saying yes, it's not always easy, but what I have learned that obedience is better than sacrifice, and that he's always been with me. Even when I didn't know him, even when I didn't have a relationship with him, like he's always been there. So I'm grateful for everything that he's done for me and what he's doing through me now, and knowing my purpose and what I'm supposed to be doing. So I thank you for that. I thank you for the invitation, and I thank you for accepting my invitation to do this.
For you, yes.
Oh my goodness. So Lala, thank you everybody, my YouTube channel. Please watch, subscribe, like, share, because this is going to be amazing. I know. Thank you. Standing Tall on Tuesday. It will be out in June.
Okay.
Yeah.
June.
So,
Okay.
All right. So,
All right.
thank you, and thank you for watching, fam. Come on back.